Hi everyone, Tony from WorkGuru here, and in this video we're going to have a look at how a fabrication business might use WorkGuru to run the building of a trailer. So let's get into it. Now we're going to start by quoting this trailer, and we'll go to our quotes dashboard, which shows us what our open and standard quotes are, and we're going to go and add a quote just from the dashboard. You can run from the menu here, and when we add a quote, there's fundamentally a couple of things that we need. We need a name for the quote for trailer. We need a client who we're building for. We'll build a Big Ted, like building into Big Ted. We need a quote date, expiry date, and a forecast date. We don't need to have that. We can put that in. I'm going to leave everything else blank at the moment. When you build a quote in WorkGuru, it is based on tasks, which are time, hours that we're going to put timesheets against in your setup, and products. And a product is anything that is not internal time. So it's anything that we buy, that we sell, that we use from stock. So it might be parts, it could be subcontractor costs, it could be travel. So it's literally anything that's not internal time. And we can add tasks and products in a couple of different ways. As you've seen there, I can type them in and select them from our product or task list. I can import them. So if you've got a takeoff or a set of CAD drawings that you want to import that from, so the plans that have come in, you can bulk import those parts lists from your CAD program and upload those into WorkGuru. The way that most of our clients tend to do it, particularly in this space, is by having templates. And a template in WorkGuru is basically a bill of time and materials. So we've got a sample 6x4 box trailer here set up with some very basic labor and QA. We've also got an optional line here for a custom paint job, adding an extra 4 hours. And we've got an extra charge for custom paint work down the bottom as options. So as you can see, we've built out this template with 3 different types of labor on it, and then the elements that go into that custom trailer. Now, very important to point out at this point that the template does not lock you in. So if you want to remove certain things, if you want to change certain things, if you wanted to say, ignore the sense of this, but I can change it. I want two single axle kits for this, or I want 2 sets of sidings, whatever. You can change that on the fly. You can add extra line items in. You can remove line items. You are not locked in, and you can just edit it as you go. If you think of the template as a shortcut to stop you having to enter that multiple times. So I'm going to save and issue that quote. We've got a forecast margin and all of our revenue numbers down here, as well as our profit. And we can email that quote to the client. We can print it. We can make it look however we want. It's fundamentally based on a set of Word documents that we do replacements in. So if your quotes can be done in a Word document, we can probably do it. And from here, we're just going to accept and create that project. Now, because we've got options on the quote, it's going to ask us what options were accepted. We're going to say that this client particularly accepted the custom paint job, and we'll accept both of those quotes, both of those options, and it will create the new project and mark the quote as one. All we need to do here is set in the project, all of your information has come through. The only thing that we need to change here is anything that wasn't on the quote. So the start date and the due date of the project, the purchase order, the project manager, and then the client purchase order. So if you've been given a client purchase order number, you can use that. This one's already been used before. That's okay. I'll reuse it. Then the only other thing that you might look at when you're setting up your project is you might choose to schedule individual labor tasks. So if you wanted to do fabrication, galvanizing, and you literally wanted to set start date and end dates for each of those tasks so you could schedule it in more detail, you can do that as well. But we're not going to here. We're just going to save that here. That then will take us through to our main project overview screen, where all of the general details about what we're doing and who it's for are at the top right. The bottom left is probably the most important thing. So these are our project profit widgets, and these tell you what our actual performance against our estimate was. So how are we tracking against what we expected? So we've done 0 out of 20 hours work, completed 0 of 3 tasks. We've invoiced none out of our 10 grand, got no WIP, and we've got no profit at the moment. As you add costs and time to your project, those will update in real time. Now, there's 3 ways that most of our clients will add costs to a job in WorkGuru, and they are timesheets, stock usage, and purchase orders. So let's do a very simple timesheet add. Now, most of our fabrication clients will actually use the workshop kiosk. So the kiosk is designed to let multiple people clock in and clock out different times on one device. So very unlikely you'd be adding a timesheet this way. But just as a quick demo, when I add that timesheet, it adds the cost to the labor line, increases the percentage of that labor line usage, and it also increases our project overall. So we've done 4 out of 20 hours on the project. We've done 4 out of 14 hours on that general labor line. It also adds to our timesheet audit log, who did what time and when, and also what it cost us. And that cost is based off the hourly rate that I've got set up for this particular user. And you can see that that's also reflected in our cost. The second way we can get costs onto a job is to use materials from stock. So in this case, we've got a whole bunch of parts that we forecast on the job. And the only one of those that we've got in stock at the moment, you can see from the detail, is the 6x4 trailer chassis. So I'm going to go and use that material from stock. I can cheat if I want to and go use all forecast, which will just use everything that's in my budget. But I'm just, in this case, I'm just going to draw down specifically on that one chassis. What that will do, it will add the audit log usage, who used it and when. It will update the stock on hand levels. It will update what I've used from stock so I can see how I'm tracking against my budget. And it will also update the cost on the job. So that also creates the stock on hand journal to flow through to your accounting system at a later date. And it reduces the available stock based on what I've used on that job. The third way that we can get costs onto a job is to raise purchase orders on it. So I'm going to go and buy all of these elements from a thing. I can create one PO per supplier. I can order just what's out of stock. I'm going to cheat here and just select the items that I want and pretend that they can all be bought from the same supplier. So I'll buy them from my demo supplier, and it will add the purchase order line items. It'll add the line items to the purchase order based on your forecast at the project level. So we can email that off to the supplier from here. Again, we can make your templates look pretty much however you want. And when we receive that purchase order back in, all we need to do is edit the received date, the invoice date, and the supplier invoice number, and also tell WorkGuru what we got. So if we got everything that we said that we were going to get on the purchase order, we just receive it all. If we didn't get it, and we're missing some stuff, we can go and create a back order. So if I create a back order for that, when I receive this purchase order, it will send through the invoice and the details for accounts payable on the other one, and it will create me on my project another back order with a /1. So it's the back order element /1. So we've still got $150 outstanding on that PO. Other things, so that's it, getting your costs and timesheets and materials onto the job. Other things that you might want to do is add notes to the job here or upload files. If you email, you'll get one email address for your company. If you email or any content to your company name at workguru.email, with the project number, the lead number, the quote number, or the purchase order number in the subject line, it will automatically attach the body of the email and any files to the project as well. So really useful for keeping all of the communications out of your email and getting them into your job management system. Finally, let's talk about invoicing. You can invoice pretty much any way you want to in WorkGuru. So you can do a percentage claim, you can do completed tasks, you can do your actual WIP if you're building time and materials. In this case, we're literally just going to bill 100% of what we built. So we're just going to bill the whole thing in arrears. On my purchase order settings, I've got a PO setting that sets all of these as marked up and billable by default. You can turn that off. So I'll just remove those there. And we're just going to bill the line items that we quoted as we quoted them and then send that through to the client. So very simply, that is a very quick overview of quote and project methodology for a fabrication company. If you want any more details, reach out to the team via the website or the 1300 number, and we'll look forward to chatting with you soon.